y'all. Today I am going to be showing you how to do a prom slash homecoming slash glam look for young-ish people. So my goal in this is to just give you some tips if this is like your first big event that you've gone to, you're a little bit nervous, you're like, oh my gosh, I want to look good, but I don't want to look ridiculous. This video is going to help you out with that. So if that sounds like you, you've found the right place, and I'm so glad for you being here. More awkward than a 14-year-old, I swear. All right, we're just going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so with all these products, everything is affordable, everything is drugstore, because I figure if you're like, I don't know, 17 years old, you probably don't have a bunch of money to throw around. So all of this is going to be affordable for you. And also we are going to concentrate on not making the face look heavy. So I'm going to try to sort of like customize this according to younger skin. So I'm really thinking, you know, if you're 20 or under, this is really going to be a good look for you. Okay, so first up, we have the Angel Veil Primer. The reason why I chose this is because for a lot of us, when we are in our teenage years, we're a little bit worried about oil because we're worried about acne. So you don't need a whole lot of pore filling, even though this will fill in some pores. This is mostly just for mattifying and for giving you a smooth canvas. It's about $16, and that's a little bit pricey for drugstore, but it works really, really well. I also like the Stay Matte one from Rimmel. That one's like $5 or $6. Whatever you prefer. It's not like a big deal. So, Angel Veil Primer. There you go. I shouldn't have thrown that. Okay, so for foundation, I chose one that is not super full coverage, but that can be built up a little bit. This is the Matte and Poreless Maybelline Fit Me. There's nothing complicated about it, and it looks great on absolutely everybody. We're just gonna dollop some of that. You really don't need much of it, especially because you're young. Your skin still looks good. I'm just using a Real Techniques sponge to put this in because that is the easiest way to do it. So just put a light layer at first, and then if you want some more coverage, you absolutely can go back and put another layer of this stuff on. It works pretty well that way. Please, for the love of everything, be sure to like drag this down your neck and jawline a little bit, because if you don't, you will wind up with a mask and it looks like a foundation beard. It looks horrible. So you don't want that. I'm using whatever's left over on my sponge and just going on the forehead because my forehead really, in all honesty, doesn't need a whole lot of coverage. Plus I have bangs, so we're good. With concealer, I'm using the Fit Me concealer. I'm in the shade 10 Fair. My foundation shade is 118 Light Beige. That's a little bit dark for me right now because we're coming up on fall and I never go outside. But this concealer is nice. It's got a little bit of radiance to it. It's not too heavy. You can build it up, and it's just really easy to work with. Plus it's like $5. So I just add like a little bit there because I have some darkness. When it comes to concealer at all, you really don't want to use very much of it. You just want to use like a little dab, and then if you need more, you just go back in and you put in some more, honey. It's okay to look at your face and still have blemishes on it and say like, no, I'm okay. I look good. I think that anybody who tells you differently is trying to sell you something. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyelids because that's a thing that I like to do. So I'm going to use the Milani eyeshadow primer. This one is about, I want to say like $8. You don't have to get it. You can use your concealer instead. I just find that this creases less on me. Dab. Okay, I'm going to go in with the Photo Focus powder. Now the reason why we use powder is because this liquid is a little bit tacky. So if we put more products on top of it, it may show up and then not move at all, so we won't be able to blend it out. So it's just going to be like, and you're going to be like, oh gosh, I'm stuck with this for the rest of my life. Also, it can brush off on things really easily, and so we don't want that to happen. Make sure that we set it down. So I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Loose Setting Powder in the shade Translucent. Alrighty, so I'm just patting it in. So I'm not setting my face down a ton. I'm just setting down like a little bit. I am setting it down quite a bit down here because I have creases there. If you don't have any creases, like if you smile and it like doesn't wrinkle, don't worry about setting it. Just take your brush and just like sweep it under, you know? So I'm going to take whatever is left over in this cap, and I'm just going to dab a little bit on my brush, and then we're going to use that to get the rest of the face. Okay, so the face looks velvety. Looks like a velvet little teddy bear. Now, moving on. We are going to go ahead and do some bronzer. So, Le Bronze. I am just going to go ahead and use the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This stuff smells like a teenage dream. It just smells like the most coconutty thing in the whole wide universe. It has given me a headache before in the past, so I've stopped using it before, but it's just a really good bronzer. It's nice and smooth. It's a good color for a lot of different people. They have multiple different shades, so if you're a different skin tone than me, you can find one that works for you. I like to do a little bit of light contouring with my bronzer, and so I like a satin or a matte bronzer for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and almost draw like an imaginary line for my cheekbone, sort of heading down towards the corner of my mouth. And the reason that I'm doing this is just to give a little structure to the face. We kind of blanked it all out with our foundation, so I want to add a little bit more back to it. That way it looks like an actual face and not like a... And I'm going to put it on my forehead like I've been out in the sun. This really creates like that nice like oval effect to your face. Kind of what they were going for in like all the classic paintings. So I strive to be a classic painting. I don't know about you. So I'm taking a sort of flatter brush and I'm going to add a little structure back to my nose. And I'm just going to bronze the outer thirds of it. So I'm just coming in very, very lightly and just very lightly adding a little structure back to my nose. And then I like to do that same thing sort of to the bottom of my nose. Okay, now I'm going to take my brow products. Use whatever you're comfortable with. I recommend for beginners just starting out with a tinted brow mascara. This is from NYX. And I just go ahead and brush my brows up in the front, diagonally in the middle, and down on the sides. Next, we're going to move on to eye makeup. So the 3 brushes we're going to be using are a little pencil smudge brush. It's just a little smudger. Then I'm going to be using a shade brush. This is like a flat, ovalish kind of brush. It looks a little bit like a fan, but not like a big fan, just like a little fan. That feels good. And then we're going to be using a big fluffy crease brush. You can use any brushes that look like this. e.l.f. has some really nice ones that I highly recommend, and they're pretty cheap. But these are the 3 brushes I'm going to be using today. The palette that we're going to be using today, there are a lot of great drugstore palettes, okay? But my favorite ones are from Milani. So I'm going to be using the Bold Obsessions palette. It just looks something like this. So everything's kind of laid out. The reason why I love this one so much is it has a good blend of mattes and shimmers. And it also creates like 3 different looks just by going with one of the lines. You just pick a color and you go down and you apply it in that order and you're going to wind up with an okay eye look. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be using this line of shadows, okay? I'm going to be starting off with this matte pinkish shade right here. So I'm just going to fluff this all over the lid. What we're doing is we're getting rid of that stickiness from that primer from earlier to create a smooth canvas for our other shadows to blend on top of. Next, I'm going to be going in with this pink shimmer shade on that flat oval brush. And I'm going to put this on the inner half of my lid. If you really want to, you can take some water or some of your setting spray and you can put your shadow on your brush and then spray the shadow that's on the brush and really pack it in there. Or you can use your finger. Next, going in with this sort of bronze taupey shimmer. So we're going to put this on the outer third of the lid. Outer half to third, whatever. Just adding as much of that as you like. Okay, so not too precise. Just kind of creating that outer V effect. It's going to make your eye look a little bit bigger. And then I am going to take this dark shade on the end of that brush. And I'm just going to put it on the outer third of my lash line. Now that we've got that done, I am going to take whatever is left over on that oval brush and I'm just sweeping it underneath the eyes. It is so that my eyes look like they are casting their own shadow. That's how huge they are. Remember, we want to make them look bigger. Keeping it mostly focused on the outer little bit of that lash line. Gonna take my big old fluffy powder brush and sweep away the fallout. Now that we've got that, we're gonna take our little pencil brush. We are going to come into this shimmery pink champagne shade. So we're just going to dot that right there on like that tear duct area, right in there. Now the eyeshadow is pretty much done. You can add an eyeliner if you want to. I think for the purpose of the video, I'm going to keep it really simple and not add an eyeliner. Okay, so we're going to move back to the brows. I'm going to be using the e.l.f. brow pencil in the shade Taupe. I can't stress this enough. Try not to fill in your brows so much that it looks like you painted them on. You want them to breathe. So you're going to go to the little bald spots. Like for me, that would be like the front of my brow. I have like little areas on the bottom that don't have as much hair. So I'm drawing a gentle line there, and then I'm going to feather that line by drawing little flicks, little hair strokes at the front of my brow. And then I'm going to do kind of the same idea on the top part. Draw a line, and then draw little flicks up to that line. And if you wind up with the front of your brow with a really squarish shape to it, like very boxy looking definable line, just take your little spoolie, draw to the side on the bottom, draw upwards right here in the middle, and then draw to the side on the top. And then I'm going to add a little here in my arch, add a little to the tail, just keeping it as my natural shape. I'm not reshaping it really. It's decent enough. So there's a ton of great highlighters at the drugstore. I personally recommend, for you being younger, the Hard Candy Fox in a Box. I'm pretty sure they still sell this. Anyway, I'm going to use it because it's a little bit more subtle. It's not so glowy. So in pictures, it's going to look more natural. It's not going to look like a stripe on your face. I love the shade Girl Boss. It just looks like this. And then here is the inside. So kind of a baked formula, kind of a dupe on the Dandelion Twinkle by Benefit. So I'm just going to come on the tops of the cheekbones to make them look like they're coming forward just a little bit more. See? It's just a little bit of glow. Now that we've got that done, I've got highlight all over my cheeks. Got the honey glow in my cheeks. I'm going to take a blush brush, big old fat oval, and I'm going to take the Milani Baked Blush in the shade Dolce Pink. It's just a really pretty, like, shimmery pink, very glowy. It's going to look great in pictures. I'm just going to swirl it on my cheeks. I'm keeping it out here to the side and up. That way I look nice and young and fresh, and you want to blend in circular motions. You do not want it to look like a stripe. I am going to go ahead and set the face with some setting spray from Flower Beauty. This is their Seal the Deal setting spray. It's their long-lasting setting spray. This one, highly recommend for all that dancing and smiling and laughing and sweating you're going to be doing. So we're going to be taking this guy, and we are going to be spraying a light layer over the entire face, making sure that kind of the whole face feels a little bit wet once we're done with it. That's about when I stop. Then I'm also going to be patting it down. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put on some mascara. In keeping with the drugstore theme, I'm going to use the Lash Paradise one. This one gives you nice fluffy lashes, so I recommend using waterproof. Don't let waterproof makeup scare you. Just get yourself some coconut oil to wash your face with later. So I'm just going to curl my lashes really quick. This can be a really scary step. You don't have to do it with this mascara, but I curl at the base of my lashes, at the middle of my lashes, and at the end, and I hold it for maybe about 5 to 10 seconds each squeeze, and don't squeeze very hard or you're going to cut your lashes off. So if you're scared of this, you don't have to do it, but that's how I do it. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to add my mascara. Okay, so for lips, we're going to go in with a lip pencil first. This is the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in Whipped Caviar. I really like this color. I just got it the other day. I like to anchor my pinky on my chin here. Just draw it on the outside. Just following your natural lip line. We're not doing anything crazy. Just follow the line your lips make. Now I'm going to take that pencil and I'm going to fill in the lips. So I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink. And this is a liquid lipstick. This one is in the shade Lover. And I like to brush it on the bottom first. Oh God, if you go outside the line, very quickly brush it with your finger. Just bopping them together. And I'm I'm going to flip it over to get the product on the other side and pushing it out. Using that point to get that precise edge on the outside. Okay, just waiting for that to dry down a little bit, and once it has dried down, go ahead and give it a good lick. I know that sounds weird, but this stuff will stay sticky and uncomfortable until you do that. So I just go ahead and... Alright everybody, this is the finished look. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you learned something. If you did, please go ahead, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this from me. Please go ahead and leave a comment on a video idea that you would like me to create, and I will do my best to create it ASAP. I have so many requests, and I'm so excited to create all of them, so who knows, maybe your idea will be next. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and I hope you have a great event that you're planning for, and that you feel confident, and you feel beautiful, and you realize that, I just love you, I just want to squeeze your little cheeks. Okay, have fun, make good choices. Okay, bye.